Welcome to Love Them Knives channel. We do love them knives. We like this knife for sure. This knife is an interesting one because it's made by Shieldon Knives, okay? Shieldon Knives. Now, just not too long ago, I was talking to you. I did a video on the Squire. Shieldon Knives doing the Squire. And this is a prototype, right? And so is the Ronin by Tepe Designs. They are prototypes. So they're looking for feedback, okay? Do you want it bigger? Do you want it smaller? Do you want it all tie? Do you want it all carbon fiber? Do you want it this, that, whatever? Do you want it in a G10 version? Whatever, that kind of thing. So you can check out my video on this. This is the Squire. This is Marshall Noble. He is a custom knife maker in the U.S., okay? So this is his design. Speaking of USA, this is Sean Hassan. This is Tepe Designs. You may have bought his Killage or some other knife from him. He has, or another knife that has goop on the pocket clip. Where do you pick that up? Okay, but Sean has done a lot of, and I can't remember the actual name of one of my favorites that he has done for Tucson knives. He's done, I don't know, 4 or 5 different designs for Tucson knives, but then he started his own. There is a Tepe Designs website, okay? You can look at his knives, whatever knives for sale, etc. This is called the Ronin. Now, this is done by Shieldon Knives, okay? So, and this is a prototype Ronin, R-O-N-I-N, M390, this and that. Here's this stuff, okay? But they sent this to me because they were interested in me putting on my channel so they could get feedback from the audience and from knife enthusiasts. What do you want? And this is a great design. I like this. This is very much in Sean's design language, okay? And I like his design language. I like the rounded, you know, I like the way he does his blades, almost a hint of a trailing point type thing, this and that. But they sent it to me and said, okay, put it out there. Let's see what people say. Now, they've got inlay on both sides, which is great for me. I could have done this titanium with inlay on the front too and made it more like that. You know what I mean? Okay. And doesn't need to be the glossy type because I'm not sure this is solid carbon fiber all the way through or a G10 laminate. But yeah, I don't dig the glossy as much. Now, you might. So you need to say what? You like the fact it's a front flipper, it's not, it's this, it's that. You want it bigger, you want it smaller. This is in M390 here, so we're good with that. We got titanium, we're good with that. Is it too big? Is it too small? It's definitely not too big. So I'll answer all the questions and act like I care what you think. How about that? That'll just work great. See, this is under 3 here, and it's at 3 at best, and overall it's under 7. It's like 6 3/4 inches overall length at 17 centimeters. So not real big, is it? And I think that's another thing with the Squire. That was also a relatively small knife, even smaller. Okay, so there were some comments on the Squire saying we'd like it to be a bit bigger, and then people saying this would be way cool in a G10 model. Some people saying don't like the thumb disc. I kind of like the thumb disc. And wow, she's droppy. She is droppy. sloppy droppy. And this one is pretty smooth as well. So really, and you know, Shieldon is making better knives for other people than they are for themselves, actually. I thought it was kind of funny. I think I communicated that with Shieldon. It's like, you know, the OEM work you're doing is really nice and smooth and this and that. But it's not easy, right? It's not easy getting that consistency from one knife to the other where they're all the exact same. But wow, this is nice. This is very smooth. So yes, not a real big knife. And let me throw some other numbers at you here. Okay, so about 12 millimeter, 0.47, 0.46. Okay, squeeze, 0.46. What do we got? 3 millimeter? Yeah, about 3 millimeter on the blade stock, 2.8, etc. And weight. And let's check that out. Uh, 106 grams. You know, it's over 100 grams, so there's something there. 3.76. Okay. What do you think? I like the overall design. I think that's way cool. Me personally, I think I could take this at a 3, you know, and you could 3.5. I mean, if you want to do the dance like We Knives has been doing on a lot of their quote-unquote full-size models and say, we could do a 3.46 inch blade. I don't know why they don't want to call it 3.5, but 3.46 and 8 inches overall length. I could do that. So, you know, Tucson did a knife from him that was S110V, and then the other one, God, I can't remember the name. I'm going to put it down here, though, that he did that I love, I've got in my drawer, is M390 and was numbered. So, and I got to meet Sean at the Atlanta Blade Show in 22, so I'm sure he'll be back there in 23. But yes, I like it. I like the idea of this. I think I would either want it total carbon fiber, which he's done on some previous knives, not Shieldon, but you know what I'm saying, and or total tie, or do that with an insert. That's fine. That's fine. But keep the insert on this side. I mean, don't delete that. So yeah, one or the other. That would be nice. I like the ergos on this knife. They're good too. This is interesting, this logo here. It kind of just blends with the surrounding, doesn't it? And then, see, this is a Shieldon. And it's kind of square, okay? So this keeps this stabilized, so this will not turn. So when you disassemble, this will come apart, just like this one did. When I did a disassembly on the Squire, that's how that worked. So, and this thing, ooh, drop shutty. And this one is very glassy feeling. And, you know, there's some guys just not really into the front flipper thing. Although this one, at this size, is easy to front flip. I think knives get more difficult to front flip when they get in the, you know, like 8.75 and up overall length, you know, because you gotta crawl up, you know, the knife to get out in front of that flipper, and then you've got such a long blade, it becomes a little bit more awkward. So I think really front flippers are really effective for knives that are 3.5 inch blade and under, but once they approach 4 inches, I think they get a little awkward, and I'd just as soon pass on it. But this is very fidget friendly because you've got the front flipper and you got the thumb studs. Would you want to cut this off and put a top flipper. I could see that, either that or cut this off and maybe do some slots here instead of a thumb stud. And that way, you know, when you're doing cutting tasks, the one thing about thumb studs is, I mean, I just saw a demo online where somebody was cutting an orange or something and it had thumb studs like this, and it was like, you know, where if it didn't, it had gone right on through because you got cutting edge right to here, right? So cutouts then have their own particular issues as well, but they're finger flickable like a thumb stud is. So just throwing out some ideas that you guys might want to ponder, put in the comments section, and give your own feelings about it. Bigger, smaller, materials. You know, I do really like the idea of a lot of the high-end models also being translated into like a G10 or micarta version with a user steel like 14C to make it affordable, you know, or more affordable. So for just like everyday beater carry use, and yet they can still have this design in their hands. So that would also be something. Oh, a shockwave. That's the shockwave is what he did for Tucson. Never mind, just came to me. Boom, right out my mouth. But yes, so I'm going to leave you to it on this one. I just think that this would be, and no point in doing a disassembly. You want to see what it looks like, just check out my video on the Squire. It's pretty much the same. But ceramic bearings, ceramic detent ball, etc., etc. And let me see on this one, yeah. Well, of course, nothing up here because this is a solid carbon fiber or a solid slab, you know, of material. So no weight relieving there per se. But it's fairly lightweight. But I like this design. I think, you know, that maybe it could be better. And so I'm anxious to read your comments, and I'll direct Shieldon to do the same. And let's see what comes of this, because I definitely want them to do a Tepe design for sure. This would be great. I love it. And so I always encourage Shieldon and any new manufacturers to look at some of the talent that's out there to do collaborative designs. So when you've got Marshall Noble and you've got Sean Hassan to do, or Tepe Designs to do, you know, design work for you, that's a good thing. That's a good thing. I'll leave you to it. Thank you so much for hanging out for a little while and doing a little round table. We are Love Them Knives. You guys, stay sharp.